Curious about the cost of buying a home? Well, stick around because I'm going to break down everything you need to know before you buy your next home. Hi, I'm Paula Flagg with Paula Flagg Homes. And today I want to break down the cost involved with buying a home. Now, most of the funds needed to purchase a home will be due at closing. However, there are a few expenses you will incur prior to closing, and it's important that you make sure you're prepared for them. So let's dive in. So, what are these costs that you're going to have to pay out of pocket before closing? Well, really, there are three major expenses. One is the earnest money deposit, you also have home inspections, and then finally, the appraisal. So, what is the earnest money deposit? Well, the earnest money deposit is good faith money that you are going to include with an offer to purchase a home. It's due at the time that the offer is accepted, and the money is deposited and held with the title company. Now, don't worry, this money will actually get applied toward the overall cost that you incur with your transaction. It's just held up front. And usually, an earnest money deposit in this market is 1 to 3% of the sales price. A higher earnest money deposit will be viewed stronger by the seller. And if you happen to find yourself in those multiple offer scenarios that do still come up from time to time, then having a higher earnest money deposit will improve your offer. The second expense that you're going to incur is for home inspections. Now, the costs of an inspection are paid directly to the home inspector, and they're usually paid at the time of the home inspection. Now, the cost is going to vary greatly depending on the size of the property, but you can kind of expect for starting price for a small condo to be around $300. A mid-price property, row home, townhouse, maybe in the $500 to $800 range. And then for larger detached homes, you may find yourself in the range of $800 to $1,400. And again, that can vary wildly depending on the size of the property. Also, some of the features that the home has. So, if there's multiple kitchens, a lot of bathrooms, then that will be factored in as well. Another common inspection that a lot of people get is a radon inspection, especially if you have a floor that is in contact with the ground. And that is usually between $150 to $200 when you add it on to a traditional home inspection. And lastly, the third expense that you will incur will be for the appraisal. Now, your lender will coordinate the order of the appraisal, and you'll receive a request from the lender for payment. Usually, you'll make this payment at the same time you're receiving all of your formal loan application documents. Now, the fee will vary based on the property and the loan type, as well as the requested speed of the appraisal. So the most likely range for your appraisal will be between $500 and $800. So those are the big expenses that you will have to be responsible for prior to closing. Now, the other expenses that you are going to incur when you get to the closing table will be your down payment and your closing costs. So the down payment is really going to depend on the loan that you choose, and it will be based on the sales price. Most of my clients are putting down anywhere from 3 to 5%, depending on the loan. Now, there are several programs that exist that can reduce or even eliminate the down payment, especially for first time home buyers. Um, there are some advantages to paying 20% down if you're able to. However, in the DC metro market, with the prices that we see here often, most buyers are purchasing with 3 to 5% down unless they've recently sold a home as well and they're rolling the equity over into a new property. Closing costs is an umbrella term that gets used all the time, which basically just represents all of the other fees, taxes, and other expenses that you will incur that's associated with the purchase of real estate. So some of the costs included in closing costs are state and local transfer and recordation taxes, title search, title insurance, and other settlement fees to the title company, loan origination and processing fees to the lender, initial funding of your escrow account that pays for your property taxes and your homeowner's insurance in the future. And if there's an HOA or a condo association, there's usually some fees associated with setting up your new account with the association, or sometimes recreational fees, things like that, when you buy into those communities. So closing costs will typically run around 2.5% to 4%. That again is going to vary based on your locality, and where we are in the tax cycle or the day of the month. So as you get closer to your closing date and all of the tax information has been returned from the title company, you'll be able to get a very accurate representation of what you're going to be bringing to closing. You can keep in mind that most of the loan estimates that a lender is going to provide to you, especially a reputable lender, is going to estimate on the high side. So you may be pleasantly surprised with slightly lower closing costs as we approach the closing date and all of the actual numbers are put into the transaction. If you have any questions about the costs associated with purchasing a home, or if you'd like more information about the programs that are available to help buyers with down payment and closing cost assistance, please feel free to reach out. I would love to answer your questions, find out more about your situation, and see how I can help. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope that it was helpful. And as always, thank you for choosing Paula Flagg Homes for all of your real estate needs.